welcome back to Hoffman Reproductions. Good to be with you once again, and we have another musket to show off here. This time we have, as opposed to the first models, which you remember we've shown on previous videos, this one is a second model English Brown Bess Musket, pattern 1769 to be exact. This one was built by myself with parts purchased through Loyalist Arms again. And this particular gun, if you wanted to see one that was in very heavy use at the time of the American Revolution, this would be your gun. When the war touched off, and even several years into the war, the Crown forces stationed here in the colonies would have been using a pattern 1776. There were other models that came out, and I'm sure some units were using the previous models, but the latest and the greatest in couple years just prior to the Revolution would have been this gun here, and would have saw very heavy use in the time of the American Revolution. Probably some of these found their way into colonial forces' hands, although obviously they would not have been issued this gun. It probably would have been battlefield pickups or captures is where they would have found use with this particular musket. So as I've said before, a lot of differences, little minor details with each different Brown Bess pattern that would come out. The main difference on this gun, that if you had to point out a few specific things, would be a flat side plate as opposed to one that stuck up or protruded above the stock and was rounded. Flat side plate, basically a much more simple form, and then the greatest thing would have been much shorter, several inches cut off the end of the barrel, which not only made this gun easier to handle because of the shorter length, we only have a 42-inch barrel now, it would reduce the weight as well. So you've got a shorter and a lighter weapon. It was really a workhorse gun and saw a significant amount of use in the time period of the American Revolution. Good heavy-duty gun and desirable today for shooting and reenacting. So let me just, you can see it or not, I'll do some more close-ups of the gun, but flip the other side around real quick. So before we conclude this video, of course, none would be complete without test firing, so I'm going to go ahead and load up. We've got some targets out there in the woods and see what we can do. Alright, so I've got a silhouette target set up here out in the woods about 40 yards out or so. For this first shot, I'm going to go ahead and load up with a traditional paper cartridge that we've shown in previous videos. Not really expecting a whole lot for accuracy from this gun because literally this is only like the third or fourth time I fired it, so I've not had time to work a load up for it. I'm going to be firing about 73 grains of 3F powder, .730 round ball, and then of course the paper wadding. I've been asked before by several viewers why 3F in these large calibered muskets. You certainly don't have to. It's not a safety issue. 3F powder will generate a little more bore pressure, so if you're shooting large charges, it's generally recommended to knock it down from the charge you might use with 2F. But some guys prefer it. They feel that they get better accuracy using 3F. I like it because I like to prime with 3F. I don't like fooling around with two different types of powder. I don't carry a priming horn. When I'm using my horn, I just like to use the one type of powder, so I like it for both my main charge and my priming charge. 2F will work as priming, and historically speaking, powder was probably a little more along those lines anyway. It wouldn't have been as fine a quality as we get today, but that's the reason I like to use 3F. You can use 3F or 2F, whichever you prefer, but whatever works good in your firearm is what you want to stick with at the end of the day, as long as you're being safe. So, without further ado, we'll go through the loading motions. Our paper rubber cartridge containing the items I already described. One other feature of this gun, although it was done on some previous earlier models, we now have a steel rammer as opposed to a wooden one. Not the first model, again, it was done on, but this one did carry that. And again, I don't like to prime with a cartridge for safety reasons, so powder horn priming charge. Alright, so let's pretend it is 1775. I have deployed forward with the skirmishers of my unit. We're down at the base of a ridge. Some of the enemy have been spotted out here in the woods pressing forward, and until the main force arrives, we're to hold them off. So we'll see if we can keep some of the enemy in check till our main line gets here. Okay, looks like we hit him. We'll load up and see if we can give him another. Alright, so another enemy soldier has come to within range, so we'll go ahead and see if we can drive him back. Had the old hang fire go on that one, but looks like I still nicked him. Okay, so I wanted to show you the result of our silhouette target at 40 yards. Not that impressive, kind of erratic. The bulk of them, of course, are hits, and several, looks like 3 are right in the gut. And one of the shots far right, that's the one with the hang fire, and then the one far left, I pulled that one pretty bad. That last buck and ball load, 2 of the buckshot hit him, one's in the gut, one was in the arm, and one whizzed by the top of his head just off of the black. So again, that's the first, literally, I think that was like the starting at the 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th shots out of this gun. So if you played with the powder charge and the wadding and whatnot, I'm sure you could tighten the groups up. But that's at 40 yards, just plinking, you know, not really trying that hard, and all gained hits, so this guy would be out of the fight if we were back in the 18th century. Okay, so some up close shots of the musket before we sign off. And in case you noticed, the hardware is a bit more shiny on this one. It's been finished out to a satin or armory bright. Not quite as bright as what it looks like on film here, but this is what you might say would be stock from the factory. And also the wood on the stock is a little bit lighter than I typically do, again to mimic one that would have been freshly issued from the armory in the 18th century. So that's going to do it for this video. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Would like to invite you to subscribe. That way you can stay informed when the new videos come out. And also, we are celebrating 500 subscribers. We hit that little milestone, and by the time of this video's posting, we'll probably be closer to 6. So thank you everybody. We really appreciate your support. And we may do a giveaway when we hit 1,000 subscribers. If the channel starts to generate a little income, we'll look into doing something cool there and giving you guys some neat items away. But for now, thanks so much again, and take care, and we'll see you again real soon.